Survival of the fittest. I don't think I could pick a more prudent statement for the current situation between Battlefield and Call of Duty. It is pretty much crunch time for both of these global franchises, and both of its publishers are pushing really hard for it to be number one. Activision knows how to be the king. They have been the ruler of the FPS genre for perhaps the last 8 years. They have really pushed it as far as they can go, and let's face it, they're still going strong. EA made a massive name for themselves with Battlefield 3 2 years ago, and Bad Company 2 wasn't a bad game either. It got people interested, and now they're a big player. So just who is going to be the winner of the FPS genre in this round? Is it going to be Battlefield 4, or is it going to be Call of Duty Ghosts? Now, a lot of you guys know that my channel is of course Battlefield focused, so I'm trying to be as impartial as possible in this video because of course there are a lot of people out there who will watch this video who do play Call of Duty. I myself play Call of Duty, I have it on my PlayStation, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar to the franchise. And with that, let's start with Call of Duty, because I think there's a lot more to talk about on their side of this FPS war than on EA's side with Battlefield. Now, Ghosts is developed by the same studio that made the groundbreaking Modern Warfare series, Infinity Ward. Now, these guys know how to make an FPS game, and they know how to get people gripped and keep playing it for a long time. But having said that though, are we getting tired of the same people developing that game every 2 years? We know that when Infinity Ward come to make a game, they like to create sequels for the thing that they created beforehand. When Treyarch come round to make a Call of Duty game, it's always a little bit different to what we had before. They developed World at War, Black Ops and Black Ops 2, fair enough. Black Ops 2 is kind of a sequel to Black Ops, but there is quite a lot of difference between the two games, whereas with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, they were essentially the same game. And I'm sort of afraid to report that it's exactly the same thing again. It's built on the same engine that they've been using for the past 8 years, which was actually built off an engine that's over 15 years old now. That's ridiculous in terms of future gaming. Think about Battlefield. We're already on iteration of Frostbite number 3. And that, with the last couple of games, we had Frostbite 2 specifically for Battlefield 3. We had Frostbite 1.5 for Bad Company 2. And the original Frostbite engine was for the original Bad Company game. So that's with each single game we've had an iteration of an engine. With Call of Duty, they've simply modified the base engine each time. But having criticised it, it's obviously working for Activision and its developers, because every single year each Call of Duty game breaks a record. Whatever record it happens to be, maybe it's hours played, amount sold, it breaks a record because people will just buy it. And why go ahead and break an award-winning formula? Why go and fix something that doesn't need fixing? And you've got to hand it to them. They know exactly how to do it. They know how to build hype. And with their community, they've got it pretty much nailed down to a head. But of course there's always competition, and there's a news article I've actually got here that's a really interesting read. It's not very long, but it's still quite interesting to see the side of things for Activision as they look at EA and think, oh, they are actually a major player now, so it's quite an interesting article. Mark Rubin from Infinity Ward actually suggests that he wants Battlefield 4 to succeed in the name of innovation for the FPS genre, because of course the more competition there is between 2 or 3 parties, the more innovation that drives the developers to create. And the reason we have Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts right now is because they are the future to what we have seen before. They are the innovation. So having now spoken about Activision and Call of Duty, we're going to flip over to EA and Battlefield's side of the war. And this is where I like to think I have a little bit more expertise, because I play the game on a regular basis. I use the franchise a lot in my videos, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Of course, if you have a different opinion, leave it in the comments below. Battlefield 4 is set to be the biggest game ever in the Battlefield community. Battlefield 3 was a giant growth for the Battlefield series. Of course, Bad Company 2 led towards that. It was a really great game, but Battlefield 3 really brought in a brand new audience. And with Call of Duty Ghosts pre-orders being well below what Activision were expecting, this is the time that EA and Battlefield really have the chance to take hold of the FPS genre and drive it home to become king. And they've given themselves all the chances they can. E3 was a brilliant way to show off the game, Gamescom is coming up, and the pre-orders for the game are looking really good. Something worth of note, however, I think that Call of Duty will always be more prevalent on consoles. Something like 80% of all of Call of Duty games are played on console, as opposed to Battlefield where the larger percentage is actually played on PC. Perhaps that's going to have a big sort of impact on how the games sort of come out and how they're played, because of course next gen consoles are coming along as well, which means we're going to be seeing a lot of current gen sales and a lot of next gen sales tied in with PC sales as well. Of course, PC is actually on the slide. If you looked at PC market share recently, it's losing a lot of share to tablets. That doesn't necessarily mean less people are playing PC games. It just means less people are using PCs nowadays. Having a look into the engine, which of course is Frostbite 3, which is perhaps the best gaming engine out there at the moment, apart from probably the Cry engine, which is just amazing. Yeah, the Frostbite 3 engine is looking great for Battlefield 4. The inclusion of Levolution looks absolutely amazing. The unscripted events that you can create in those games does look very promising. And that's something I think that Call of Duty and Activision, and for an extension Infinity Ward, have looked at and gone, hey, we actually need to pay attention to what EA are doing here. That Levolution idea does look pretty promising. And with the pre-order bonus map being that skyscraper for Call of Duty, you can kind of see where they're getting their ideas from. So even though Call of Duty are still considered to be the market leader for the FPS genre anyway, they're now actually looking like they're taking ideas from EA's side of the fence. Because why would they include a skyscraper map that wasn't invented before Battlefield 4 was shown off at E3? Well, how did that suddenly come about? Methinks they actually looked at it and gone, oh look, they've done that, we need to do this now because that looks awesome. So what we possibly have here is the king of FPS actually looking at second place and going, hey, you're actually doing these things right and we need to pay attention to you. So that means that more and more people are looking at Battlefield, more and more people are playing the game, which of course is going to grow the community and grow the game and make the game a bigger success. And that brings me nicely round into a circle. Survival of the fittest. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Call of Duty, the age-old king of the FPS genre? Or is it going to be Battlefield, the new kid on the block? To an extent. They've been around for a while, but they've really brought up their game recently to come on par and even extend beyond Call of Duty. Is it going to be those guys this time round who actually win the FPS game? And of course you guys already know my answer. I want Battlefield 4 to be the FPS king in the next generation. But is that actually going to happen, considering the driving force that is behind Call of Duty? The age-old community that will not give up on that game. And that's where I then turn round to you guys and say, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts? So I want to know. Leave them all in the comments below. I know a lot of you guys are Battlefield focused and I think that's great, but I want your honest opinion. Do you think that Battlefield 4 can overtake Call of Duty in this next generation, or do you think that Call of Duty are still going to be above and beyond Battlefield's reach? And with that comes the end of this video, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.